Welcome everybody to the Dave Knows Comics live stream coming at ya yet again on the Friday. And welcome because big news, big Batman news. Now, thank you for joining me by the way, and don't worry, we will be getting in all sorts of the nitty-gritty. Not only are we going to be taking a deeper look at the new Batman reveal of Robert Pattinson for the upcoming Batman movie, the Matt Reeves Batman movie, but we will also be discussing our thoughts and maybe talking about some old school premises of old Bat costumes. Hey, Ben Espinoza, how you doing, by the way? Glad to see you out here on the Friday Dave Knows Comics live stream. Okay, so who else is coming on there? Let's give everybody a second to file in, and thank you for the thumbs up right off the bat. It means a lot. Keeps the channel going. Okay, so when you're here now, welcome. Okay, good. There's everybody. Okay, so here's the thing. I think you guys know this about me by now, or you might have noticed. When it comes to the live stream over here on the Comic Book Show, on the Comic Book Channel, I tend to be a little more reserved. Hey, Ron Hawthorne, what is up? I don't play the game as much. I don't go in, I kind of do this channel the more what's best for me instead of doing things the way like you're supposed to do them. So don't expect me to be that guy. Like, I was very tempted for this one. I wanted to like do the typical clickbaity stuff. I didn't do it clearly, but you know, the new Robert Pattinson Batman has fans losing their mind, and then everybody starts clicking on it. No. I wasn't going to do that. Nobody's losing their mind over it. And also, I'm not going to start doing the other stuff that they do typically when it comes to costume reveals, where it looks pretty dang good. I can't believe it. I'm blown away. It's a costume, all right? It's just a costume. I'm not all that super nuts about it, but so let's start looking at it though. But I do think we should talk about it. I think we should discuss things rationally, like, you know, people, humans, I don't know, but that's just my thought process. Okay, so first, as you can see from the thumbnail, we do have this brand new design, this new logo. So as we're going to discuss, I've noticed this is the major part of it, and you also notice this a little bit in the Justice League movie with Affleck, is that we're going to a more mechanized look, more of a robotic look. There's a bit of this, there's more of an armored kind of feel to it, and as we can see from the Bat logo, it's kind of exposed. There's like metal fittings, mechanized parts. Well, it doesn't look like it's actually robotic or does anything. It is not a clean symbol. It's more like a reveal from underneath. Like, this is what's underneath the suit, and it's almost like we peeled off the top layer. And you know, it's different. There's a lack of there's a lack of a bat head on this one. It's like an Ozzy Osbourne kind of bat symbol, where we just see this bat shaped thing, but no head, which I think is an odd choice. But you know, it's different. It's what every Batman design has been is different. So when we look at the design, it is unique in that regard. Oh, Vinny Montana, hey, what's going on, man? So your opinion about the bat emblem being made out of the gun that killed Batman Spence? I did not hear that, so thank you. Benefits being a live stream. So apparently, yeah, that's what the bat symbol's made out of. Wow, that is dark. Thoughts on Harley Quinn movie flopping? Not super surprised. I saw it. I thought it was okay. You know, I thought it was good. I mean, not even okay. I thought it was good. Good enough. Dave, rank the Batsuits from 66 till now. Well, we will get into history in a bit. I did have that planned for today's live stream. But wow, if that's the case, so okay, it's not mechanized parts, it's gun parts. That is... Now, I know nothing about guns, but let's take a look at this. So, I don't even begin to know, but that's a weird thing to do if that's what he made his bat symbol out of. I find that strange. I don't know. Now, here's an interesting tidbit that you brought up, is because in some continuities in the comic books, Batman has actually kept the gun. In some continuities, he doesn't have it. Sometimes he does. It's something that writers have kind of gone in and out of. And there's also, historically, Batman has the gun phobia thing sometimes. Other times he doesn't. But one of the things that has been maintained, kind of, for the most part, is that he's actually really good with guns. Like, he may not like them, but he knows how to use them, and he actually is he's an expert marksman in the times where he has been given him. So there's been sometimes where he's been given guns and he's actually really, really good with them. And also sometimes, depending on the writers, you can actually find these pretty easily, is that he trains all the Robins on how to use guns too. So anytime he has a Robin, he does show them how to use guns. And sometimes it's also revealed that he does keep guns on premises at the Batcave. Notoriously, the most consistent thing is that Alfred is allowed to have a shotgun. He's like the only person, allowed to have a gun and wield it around. But Batman has sometimes have in the cave, they are there in case he ever needs them. But some people have just made it that he just doesn't have any, and he disavows it for the most part. But there has been a lot of silent talk about whether or not he has guns in the cave or not. Sometimes it's just like, hey, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. But there have been some writers who have outright stated that he does, and he trains all the Robins for using guns. And then there have been other times where it's like, no, he doesn't. But Alfred's the only one allowed to. Anyway, but the gun from Crime Alley, that night in Crime Alley, there's been sometimes some writers have made it that he has a particular display case, almost like the Jason Todd costume. It's just a memento he keeps. And if this is the case, which I'm just being told about, is that that's the new bat symbol, that is some weird dark stuff. Okay, do you think Pattinson will have to have a good Batgirl? I don't know. Here's the weird thing. I've never seen a Twilight movie. The only thing I know him from is Harry Potter. The only thing I've really seen him in is Harry Potter, where he's Cedric Diggory, and I barely remember what he sounded like in that. Like in my head, it's a very high-pitched voice, and I know that can't possibly be true, because that's just my impression of it. But based up, good question on the Harley Quinn thing. We will get to talk to that, but let's keep going with the Batman thing. Arthur Pryor, yeah. That guy's... Wow, see, Arthur Pryor doesn't even know what he's talking about. Haven't said anything yet about that. Based up, I realized that Batman actually is constantly ruining Gotham. Wow, deep thoughts. Batman has a grapple gun. Yeah, not the same though, but yes. But he does consistently have the grapple gun. Batman and guns are a weird combo. I think it's a weird combo. Personally, Big Blue Attack, I don't like Batman having guns. I think I'm okay with the idea that he might let Alfred use one, but still, even so, But I do also think that he should be training the Robins with it, because it's one of those things that you should at least understand how they work, even if you don't. If you're going to be Batman, even if you don't want to use them, you should be able to know how to dismantle, like that part in Dark Knight where Batman takes the gun and just disassembles and breaks it apart. It's like he's not like phobic in the sense where he can't touch one, or he like would scream if he goes near one or sees it in a room. You know, it's not like arachnophobia where some people just start screaming if they see a spider. He hates them, he doesn't like them, and he will dismantle them if he sees them and just get rid of them. But he's not like panic phobic about it. But anyway, yeah. So let's finally get to the actual look of the guy himself. Here we go. Now this picture. Now what was really cool, if you saw the video reveal, I will say I love the music. The music was really cool. It got like stuck. It was like bumping in my head. But when we revealed the actual Batman look, so while we have that more mechanized look in the suit, more armored look in the suit, more Iron Man-y look, which again the Ben Affleck Batman shifted to from Justice League, also had that look. When we look at the hood and where we look at the cowl, we didn't really get a good shot of the ears. But people have been saying that with the red lighting and also the particular look of the cowl, it's very Daredevil Netflix-y. And I gotta admit, it is. It definitely is. The two characters' costumes have a certain similar quality as is, but doing the red lighting and this leathery kind of cowl, not helping the case. So here we have Pattinson now. Because this image is a little bit brighter than the way I actually got it when I saw it. So here we can see a little more detail. If you look closely, you can see his eye, Batman's actual eye. You can see it here. Now, I didn't know that's what they were gonna do with it. When I saw it, it was so dark I couldn't actually make out. I couldn't make out his eyes. So I thought what was gonna happen at the end of the trailer, I thought his eyes were gonna open. It was going to be those white triangles, those white triangle eyes. I thought they were going to review that. I'm like, oh, that would have been so cool. But then it just ended, and I'm like, oh, that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But now that I'm looking at this this brighter picture, this brighter image, you can see his face. You can see his eyes, and it's just regular eyes. And back to the old days of actor who plays Batman's got to put black makeup over his eyes and then put the cowl on, which is fine, but whatever. If you also look very closely on the nose, you can see a little bit of a little indentation on the nose, a little smudge or a little dark spot, maybe a cut or something on the cowl, on the nose part. interesting, to say the least. It's showing that this is not perfect. It's not smooth and perfect. There is wear and tear, and it also does denote the leather part that I was talking about. But wait, real quick, let's keep talking about the. Let's go back in the comics. What are your thoughts about the cowl? It looks like the cowl from Batman. Yeah, so we're talking about Gotham from Gaslight. Okay, that's Vinny Montana. I didn't put that together, but that's not a bad observation. I will say, yeah, it does kind of look like that. Let's go continue with the comments. Thought about it, Dave, since Batman appeared psychopaths like Joker, Harley Quinn, Two-Face, Mad Hatter. We will definitely talk about this a little bit later. Okay, so base up if you want. Base up if you want to be technical. Thomas Elliott disliked the Bruce Wayne before he was ever Batman. Yes, Vinny Montana, good point. Don't worry, let's get into this a little bit. The Fiend Batman says Arthur Pryor. Hey, not bad. Just food for thought. Okay, fine, truth. But we can continue. Yes. So let's keep going back to the cowl. So finally, we have the review. I gotta admit, Robert Pattinson has a better chin than I thought. You also notice that he has almost a little bit of a collar here, which is also pretty cool. All in all, it's an interesting look for me. Going back from the mechanized look for the chest plate and then the more leathery, organic look for the face, I think that's an interesting shot. It's an interesting combination because normally you kind of pick one. Like you figured if they have the more armored look for his chest, they have a more armored look for his head. But they didn't go that route. They're kind of combining two different things, two different looks. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I know, of course, there are major parts we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen the cape. We haven't seen the utility belt. We don't know what these things like. It's not a big deal to me, but I know some people get fussy about Batman's boots, especially with like the Justice League cartoon. You notice sometimes he has a pronounced heel. Some people have some people like that, some people don't, and some people say no, he's got to have like ninja shoes because he's Batman. He's got to creep around, and other people are like no, he's got to have like treaded boots for stomping holes in people, like stomping a mud hole in people, whatever the case. Yeah, Batmobile we have yet to see too, of course. So, ladies and guys, chins are your thing. No one said it's their thing. Arthur is such a dumb, isn't he? He's here to dumbify the comic book channel too, because Arthur Pryor can't help himself. He's just a dumb. Anyway, my pick to play Batman was Oscar Isaac. Is it just me, or is Oscar Isaac a little small? Like, he was already Apocalypse, but is he a little small? I'm not a big guy myself, so I'm not talking smack. I'm just saying, like, he seems a little small to be Batman. I kind of feel like he is a troll. See, I'm not so sure if he's trolling or he's just stupid. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he is that dumb. So, yeah, I don't... here's my... Okay, so before we get into the stuff that has just been brought up, I do want to bring up one thing. My issue with all these new Batmans, because think about it, in less than 10 years, in about 8 years, we've had 3 different Batmans. Christian Bale in 2012. We last saw Christian Bale in 2012, if I'm not mistaken, with with Dark Knight Rises. Then we got Ben Affleck in 2016, and now we're going to have Robert Pattinson coming out soon. So maybe 9 years. But within 10 years, we've had 3 different Batman. And here's my problem with it. Now, we said the same thing for Spider-Man, and yet I love this new Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man, really, really good. So I've got no problem with that at all. So it can't work out. And I'm not saying that it's going to be bad, but my issue with it is that every time we get one of these, it's like there's a need to reinvent the wheel. Spider-Man's costume, this new Spider-Man costume, I'm not talking about the armored one, just talking about the straight-up regular one that he debuted in Civil War. I like that costume. I thought that was really good. Not great. Few little doodads and stuff like that I didn't need. But as a whole, it's a good look. I like that the webs weren't pronounced anymore. And I like the eye articulation. I thought that was really cool. So it was like delivering on some fan servicey things that we haven't had a chance to get that I really liked. Armpit webs and stuff like that, or things like that. So if you're going to do 3, I almost think that's kind of a way to really get your fan service on. Like, now would be the time. Especially with the fact that Spider-Man and Deadpool have made articulated eyes something that you can do. Like, why not bring the triangle eyes in for Batman? But here's the other thing. Let's look at Affleck Batman. Now, regardless of what you thought about these movies, because I wasn't necessarily a fan, I wasn't a fan of Justice League or Batman versus Superman. But when we look at this and we look at the costume, just speaking of the costume itself, I actually like this Ben Affleck costume. And allegedly, it was like all material. There was no like plasticky, rubbery parts or something, or it was all cloth. if I'm not mistaken. I've heard that. I have no confirmation, but I was told that it was all like actual breathable, stretchy like material. It was just done really well. I like the look of this. I thought this was a cool look. Yeah, I wish he had the no pupil look, which I think is cool. I wish that was there, but other than that, this is pretty much what I wanted from a Batman costume. Um, you're gonna notice though. I mean, there are certain things that film has to do. Like film is loaded with texture. Film loves textures. They just love different textures. Why? You can see um, there's like heavy textures on the torso and the arms on that gray part. Film just loves that kind of thing. So like cameras really pick up on detail and textures. So that's why you always see those like that little honeycomb honeycomb pattern on Sam Raimi's Spider-Man costume, um, or why you see like little tiny imperfections and stuff like that. They tend to love textures on camera because those details show very well on camera, and they really help to make a character pop, and that's where your focal attention will be. So, quick lesson on that. But that's why you're going to see that. I I get that film loves texture. I don't necessarily need it on everything, but that's kind of why you tend to see it a lot. But outside of that and the pupil thing, this Batman costume was pretty much everything I could have wanted from a Batman costume. This just as a costume's sake, I really liked the look of it. I thought it was absolutely great. But because we have another reboot coming, we need to change it. We need to get rid of it. We need to make a new Batman look. We need to make a new Batman costume. We need to make it different from the last one. And here we go again. Like Christian Bale, live action Batman, my favorite live action Batman. Not counting Kevin Conroy's appearance in Crisis on Infinite Earths. He didn't wear the suit, so I'm not 100% counting it. But yeah, Christian Bale, that's my dude, you know. But I didn't love his costume. I didn't like the cape. I thought the cape looked too soft, and I thought I didn't like that armored mechanized kind of thing. It's just not my style. I didn't particularly care for that. So let's get into the ranking of the costume. So number one, I'm putting the Affleck costume number one. That's actually my favorite. Number two, Michael Keaton's, definitely. Then after this, things start getting dicey. It starts getting difficult. Because the Batman Robin costume, no. But I like the Batman Forever costume at the end, too. The one he got, the new one at the end. I actually like that one. I didn't think it was too much. I'm not hard set on saying it's number three, but that's where I'm putting it for now. Then, I guess the first Christian Bale costume, I don't really like it, but this is just out of default right now. I'm putting it there. Then the Dark Knight one. Then the Batman 1966 one last. While it's classic and for its time it was fine, of course I'm not putting that anywhere high. And then the Batman Robin costume last. So that would be my rankings. If I missed one, let me know. Can you at least admit the Batman Forever Sonar suit and the first suit is better than the Batman Robin suit? Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, all right, let's get back into the chat. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, I wanted to say Stephen Amell played Batman. Don't think that would have happened, just because of the Arrow thing. And also, let's diversify. We don't need the same guys playing everything. And plus, Steve, we don't need we don't need repeats. That's my stance on this. From this following this channel, you definitely should know that's my deal. I really think if they do drive this from the Long Halloween, they will set out to make a really good Batman film since it's a murder mystery. Yeah, there were elements of Long Halloween in the graphic novel he's talking about in Dark Knight, and I really love that book, and I'm a big Jeff Loeb fan, so yeah. I did wish it was the Arkham movie that we were promised, because that's one thing that I think the Nolan series didn't do enough was Arkham. They mentioned Arkham in the first one, and then we never really went back to it. I'm a big Arkham fan. I think Arkham is such a cool premise, and it's such a cool thing to have. And I really like the idea that it was going to be Arkham, where you're going to get all the Batman bad guys for a change. Vin Montaigne says, base up, I feel like I agree, but I don't want to. Okay. 2 out of the last 3 Jokers were great. Yes. I'm not saying one. I like guys' chins. Arthur's such a dummy. Yeah, Harry Flynn. Thank you for telling that. Okay, so Dave, yeah. Hey, peace to you, Muhammad. Changed up the logo. Batman looks cool. Like Lockjaw. I think that's right, Harry Flynn. Like Lockjaw. Looks like Arkham games. From the chest down, from the head, not really, because the head. But yeah, it's similar. Rumor is we may get a Venom and Spider-Man crossover. That is a rumor. Kind of worried about it because I wasn't a big Venom fan. The movie, I love the character. So yeah, when we go back to the suits, so I have a problem with they always try to reinvent the wheel. That they want to make it looking different from last one. I don't think there's any problem with keeping that simpatico-ness because when we if you have a good, if you got it right, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But a lot of times they feel the need to change things up. And this new gun idea for the Bat logo, I don't really like. It doesn't sit well with me because it's weird. It's just a lot of these things. It's like they keep wanting to change things. But yeah, it can be good. Like with Spider-Man, it wind up working out for the better because I actually really like the Spider-Man costume that we have. But Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, while I hated the movie, the costume was the best we've ever gotten. That was the best Spider-Man look we got. The Civil War one would be second for me. But yeah, so it's like one of those things where I wish they didn't feel the need to differentiate themselves so much. And I think if we had less reboots, reimaginings, we would have that. And if Robert Pattinson was also playing, let's just say he was playing DCEU Batman. Let's say they didn't switch it off. What if he just wore an Affleck costume? What if he just slipped right into the role and we just kept him as the same Batman? It's the same Batman, just a different actor, like we did before. Like, why couldn't we do that? Why didn't Crisis happen in any other previous / already in motion timelines? Who said it didn't? Happens. I hope it will be Spider-Man 3 versus Venom. Shit. Yeah. So, yeah. I just hope it's not the Venom from Tom Hardy Venom. Nope. Tom Hardy's cool. Just didn't like that Venom movie. Okay, so finally. Okay, so now I do know we got to talk about a couple of things. Okay, so is Batman responsible for a criminals on Batman? Now, they brought up the Tommy Elliott Hush thing. Yes, Hush was bad before Batman ever came about. But let's also point something else out. You also mentioned up Two-Face face up. And so with Two-Face, in a Long Halloween at least, and several other things, it was indicated that he was already a little deranged before Batman came around. And in the animated series, same thing. He had a history of mental illness. That personality thing happened regardless of whether Batman was around or not. And in other interpretations, it has been said that Harvey Dent's desire to clean up the streets of Gotham is what also exacerbated his dichotomy, his two personalities. So if anything, without Batman, maybe the crime spree's worse, and then maybe his need for justice makes it even worse. It gives him other personalities. There was even that one animated episode where he wound up having a third personality. So there's that. I like the original Spider-Man. That guy, that 70s show wore, I'm blanking on his name, Topher Grace. He played Venom, and he wasn't Spider-Man stupid. See, this is what I mean. Is he trolling, or is he just that dumb? I've heard that they're going to see Flashpoint Batman in the Flashpoint Ezra Miller Flash film. That has been a rumor too, but that thing has been so delayed, who even knows at this point? It's impossible to reconcile Crisis with stuff like Future Star City. Well, that's the thing about Crisis. It doesn't really make any sense if you really stop to think about it. So it's just a gateway to say whatever you want. Two-Face was going to turn regardless of Batman. Exactly, Muhammad is absolutely right. So Scarecrow also research on now. When did Scarecrow start his research on film? On Fear? Who knows? But yeah, there's also a lot to suggest that was happening beforehand. Same thing with Penguin. Some interpretations of Penguin have it happen beforehand. Mad Hatter, again. So yeah, do they manifest after Batman? In a lot of cases, it's the other way around. And if we go by the Gotham series, most of those villains happened before Batman was ever there. Dave, I'm just saying Gotham is not any safer of a place to live. Honestly, it is a straightaway terrible place to live. That is 100% true. No questions asked on that one. And here's the thing. I'm not the biggest Bat dude. I'm not the biggest Batman guy. So the fact that I'm defending him right now is kind of weird to me. I'm not saying that there isn't a legitimacy to that, but I think people have noticed, writers have noticed this pattern of that you could... Joker definitely... Joker was, in some interpretations, though, Joker was already a bad guy. Sometimes he was already a criminal. Other times... Sometimes he was already a criminal. Other times he was... sometimes he was already a criminal. Other times he was the average guy, and all it takes is one bad day, depending on what you want to do. But I think the pattern has been recognized, so people have decided to start. A lot of writers to start fixing it and working it in where they've given history to a lot of the supervillains to say it wasn't Batman, that the theatrics was there. And also, let's not forget the amazing episode with Batman the Animated Series, The Trial, where Janet. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot the character's name. The new district attorney in Gotham, I believe her name was Janet Van something. It's not Van Dyne. It might be Van Dyne, but anyway, not Dyne, but I think it's Janet Van Dyne, the new district attorney in Gotham. She goes out there and she says. She's out there and she believes that these criminals were created because of Batman. Then she's forced by the villains to be Batman's defendant on trial. And at the end of it, she specifies that the more she talks about it, that she thought that they were responsible for that Batman was responsible for creating them, the more she realizes that they're actually responsible for creating him. And it was really the crime in Gotham and the corruption that made him the way he is, especially if you have the Jack Nicholson Joker idea where he's responsible for Batman's parents. It's like the villains made him, I made you made me first kind of thing. I don't know why I did the Bale thing for the Keaton thing, but whatever. You get the point. Different interpretations, different continuities, different writers, all have different aspects of it. Yeah, it is definitely a terrible place to live. Whether Batman's the cause or the result, different story, escalation. It's been interpreted different ways, but I think that's one of the fun about talking about Batman. Now, in terms of Birds of Prey flopping, I thought it was an okay episode. I thought it was an okay movie. I thought it was good. Well, not great, but I thought it was good. I liked it. Flopping, it's a little surprising, but not super surprising. I do think they leaning on the Birds of Prey thing instead of just doing the Harley Quinn was a problem. Like, they started with Harley Quinn right now. Now they renamed the movie, which I think they should have done from the beginning. I also don't think the Birds of Prey themselves were actually necessary. They were just there. Like, this could have just been a straight-up Harley Quinn movie, little cameos for this. Because in the beginning, it started looking like, oh, cool, an ensemble cast kind of thing. And then when they all teamed up, at the end, it seemed a little rushed. It didn't have that really super cohesive thing there, especially to be called Birds of Prey. So I do think that kind of hurt. Who played Spider-Man? Tobey Maguire, stupid. Okay, so, but that's my thoughts on all these kinds of things. Batman costume. If you're not, thank you for joining me live, by the way, guys. I'm glad that so many of you turned out, and thank you for the thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're not watching this live, thoughts in the comments section. Don't worry, I will be going on the Wrestling Live stream momentarily, but I got to get going for now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for likes. Thank you for contributing to the chat, even Arthur. And we'll see you on the Wrestling Live stream later on. And as always, Dave knows.